In the last video I mentioned that I'm gonna go into a recomp phase, and I did receive a lot of DMs on Instagram with people asking what is a recomp phase. So let me just explain it very simply. It's basically staying at maintenance level of calories with a high intake of protein and a good workout plan to run alongside it, ideally some cardio in between. And then basically your body is not gonna necessarily shift weight on the scale directly, but you're gonna start getting leaner by being able to build more muscle mass on your frame. Your metabolic rate is gonna get better and you're gonna start dropping off some fat. Now, you can do a recomp phase when you are already quite leanish. Like I'd say, like if you're over 20% body fat, say over 20% body fat, you'd be better off with a cut rather than going through a recomp. But because I'm seeing myself now at like 14-15%, this is just the best place to be because I don't have a lot of fat to drop. There is some, but not a lot. So rather than me having to go through a cut and kind of stress my body out, I'd rather like have a longer process of doing this and then recomping and enjoying training, enjoying my nutrition and all that kind of stuff. That's when it's worth doing a recomp. And if I feel like, say that by end of May, I'm not necessarily super happy with my level of definition, then I can jump on a very short mini cut, 2-3 weeks of aggressive deficit, and then that'll have me sorted for the summer. But see, that's the beauty of keeping yourself constant throughout the year, because then you don't have to stress out about like super bulking and like super cutting. It's a lot easier to manage, but it's just gonna take you some time to get to that level. Now, let's get to the gym and train legs. I got some new exercises to show you. We're starting with Zercher squats. This has been a new addition to my routine, and although I always seem to be against them for whatever reason, now I absolutely love them. So you want to set those up at roughly elbow height, so it's easy for you to pick up the bar from here. So when you go into those, you need to keep it at the crease of your elbows. So you really dive into the bar and you're holding it from here. Now, I much prefer those over the front squats because one is a lot more comfortable, but two, it really fires the hell out of my rhomboids. So like that part of my body has been weak since forever. And I've never really done something to hit it as much as those squats have been. And I've only been doing those for, I'd say like maybe like 7 weeks, maybe, something like that. And yeah, it's true, you're not gonna squat nowhere near as much as you normally would with a back squat. But from a functionality standpoint, this is just so much better. At least for now, it has really reignited the fire for squatting for me. Pick it up, stance is exactly like a squat, toes slightly out. And you'll see that due to this positioning, your upper body is not gonna fall forward as much anymore. So you're actually squatting with a way more of a vertical spine. Another addition for this workout are the barefoot shoes, which I'm still getting used to them, but the first set of squats felt unreal with those. I'm really enjoying them so far. They're ugly as hell. They're good though. And the disgusting juice, it's not as bad anymore, I got used to it. If you've never done this exercise before, let me just give you some friendly advice before you go ahead and do it, just so you know what to expect. So the very first few workouts are going to feel quite uncomfortable, especially on the arms. So what I used to do in my first weeks was using the barbell pads on the bar, so at least you have some cushion. Now I'm feeling fine without them. I'm still keeping a hoodie on because the gym is very cold, and that on direct skin, which is just horrible. Don't do that. So keep at least a long sleeve. But just be aware that the very first few workouts are not gonna be that pleasant unless you add some cushion. But do add it, because if you don't, you might wanna not keep on doing them because it's so painful initially. You get used to it. But once you get on the other side, I'm telling you, it's something special with this exercise. I like it. Yeah, they still hurt, but it's better. And what I also felt in the very first few workouts is that my middle back was almost like rupturing to pieces. And I almost had to stop because of that. But again, push through it, you get used to it within a few workouts. Going into the second exercise, which I don't really count in necessarily for my leg day, but I'm just doing it just to strengthen my spine in more awkward positions, like letting it stretch as much as it can and then back up. With the same Zercher position, it's not a lot of weight. It's only like 10 kilograms on each side, so that's maybe like what, like 90 pounds total, 40 kilograms. But again, I'm gonna allow my body to follow the stretch. I'm just gonna do this for 3 sets only after my main squats. And just to stretch the back after those. Feet are staying quite close. Bar is always next to my body. Oh, right. Yeah, just 3 sets of 8 of those, but oh my days. They feel so good. It might not look pretty, but if your spine wasn't supposed to go in those positions, it probably wouldn't have. So it's not always about avoiding getting injured, but it's training the highest positions of injury. So when you do something by mistake, you don't fuck yourself up for like 2 weeks. I've always smashed my legs up quite a lot. Like my 1 rep max at 89 kilograms was 220, and I've always enjoyed heavy squatting and stuff, and I've done that for over a decade, and I'm just like a bit tired of it. Like I don't understand, like I'm getting old. I'm only 27, but I'm happy with my leg size, and I'm just trying to maintain all of it. Maintenance is a lot easier than going all the way up, but it was weird because I've been training for such a long time. There was a moment around, it's like 25, when my body started handling pressure a bit worse than it used to before. So like it wasn't getting better with practice, it was just getting worse. It felt like I was kind of swimming against the current. So like, you know what, it's time for me to hang the boots. I got a t-shirt, I got my 221 rep max, I'm fine. I've done it. I'll be that annoying guy in time like, I used to squat 220 when I was your age. That'll be me. That is me right now, actually. But again, now functionality is what matters a bit more to me in this regard. So doing a bit more unorthodox exercises, maybe not the best ones for hypertrophy, but the ones that make me feel good and help me train my body in positions that I've never done it before, get it stronger from all angles, because that's what it's all about, right? The perfect proportions. But I'm saying that if you're just starting your journey, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that from the get-go. I'm just doing side quests because I've been training for 13 years and I'm very happy with what I've achieved. But if your main goal is hypertrophy and building muscle, you need to train like a bodybuilder if you want to do it in the most efficient way. And then in time, you can start doing bullshit like this with me. All right, well, moving into calves. And now the biggest tip that I can give you on those is that you really need to emphasize on the stretch aspect. So letting your heels dive in as much as you possibly can, hold the stretch for half a second to a second max, and then slowly come all the way up as high as you possibly can. Now, shoes will make a very, very big difference in how you can train your calves. If you're training in chunky shoes, just drop them off completely, right? Like, you're better off training barefoot in your socks, or just get like better footwear, because it will heavily impact the range of motion and how much you can feel out of the calves. Then on the way down, you almost want to maintain a slight contraction engagement. I know it sounds like counterintuitive, but you can make it happen, and you will be able to feel how the muscle kind of contracts and stretches at the same time. So again, you don't need a lot of weight, you just need quality reps in here. So again, I'm keeping the contraction on the way down, diving in as much as I can, stretch, then as high as I can, second contraction,
Slowly back down on the squeeze. Maximum stretch pause. Explode. Slowly. Then another thing that's worth doing at the end is going to half reps and squeeze the towel out. Ooh. Okay, and in between the sets, stretch the calves. Just like 10, 15, 20 seconds per leg. Maintain that stretch with your body weight. And then the only thing you have to do is make sure you're hitting those at least 2 to 3 times per week, and every single time at least 5 quality sets per workout, and I guarantee you they'll grow. Let's stop this "my calves are small" meme. Okay. I'm only saying this because I struggled with them for a decade and I used to believe that, and then I actually started training them properly and they started growing. Shock. And let's give you a better angle so you can watch the ankles and what I'm doing with them. So again, at the edge, and slowly on contraction down, full stretch, as high up as you can. Second contraction, slowly down, control it, stretch, contraction, slowly, keep the tension in, stop, up. Another thing that has made a difference in my calf training, it's a weird one, but it creates a huge butterfly effect. It's actually getting sports massages done into your calves. Like someone really going in and breaking every single knot, because after every single massage that I have, for like the next 2-3 weeks, my calves have way better range of motion. Everything feels so much better, especially on the contraction as well, because obviously they're taking so much beating throughout the day. You're walking everywhere. If you're running as well and like training, it's even worse. So if you feel like you don't have much, let's say, like tension through any calf exercise anymore, you don't really feel a good stretch or a good contraction, the exercise just feels pointless, get a massage done, get a sports massage, because I guarantee you it will definitely make a positive change in all of that. It will hurt like hell, but that's also an indication that you probably needed one. Get that done and you're gonna have a way better time with calf training. Moving into walking lunges, which I always like to do in a studio like this, or at least wherever I can go straight without stopping for like all my 24 reps. So I get like 12 and 12 per leg. And in general, I prefer using a bar over dumbbells, because then I don't have to worry about my grip strength and I can just focus on what's really important, the lunges. But truth be told, sometimes it is annoying putting on a lot of weight on your back with a clean and press. So I don't do them quite heavy because of it, but I take my time with them, making sure I'm getting the full range of motion, making sure that the tempo is right. And I'll show you just now. I'm not getting paid to say this, but those Vivo barefoot shoes are the most amazing thing I have ever used as footwear for leg training. It's my first workout with them. I don't even have a week since I've got them. It's just unreal. Like, you have all the benefits of having a shoe that mimics perfectly how you'd feel in socks, but without that instability and discomfort. It's mind-blowing. I feel like I've had a few friends that kept on recommending those to me and I've ignored it, like, whatever. It's just a fairy tale. Now I feel like I've been missing out for years for not getting a pair earlier. Unbelievable shoes. Pricey, I'll have to say. But at the same time, I do think they're worth it. So when you're going for lunges, by the way, you Probably you've seen like on some reps as you're getting tired, you'll feel a bit more wobbly. And that's mainly because you're going very straight. So your support leg, the one that stays behind, can be here. And then when you feel like your balance is interrupting rather than going straight, move your front leg slightly to the side. So you're almost like walking in diagonals for the lunge. That will help a lot because you create a way bigger base in between your legs. Then you'll stop going side to side. But I only like to do that when, again, I'm getting towards my last reps and the fatigue is starting to catch up. I don't have my air anymore and I need it. But otherwise, give that a go as well if you struggled with balance before on lunges. Getting on leg extensions. So oddly enough, I see a lot of people that are setting up this machine the wrong way. So let's just like get this clear out of the way first thing. You always want the crease of your knee to be fully anchored in, right? If your leg is starting from here and you have a gap, that's gonna put so much more tension on your knees and it's gonna feel awful, right? Ideally, your knee would be exactly in line with the pivoting point of the arm, right, of the machine. Because then you're going properly with the machine's motion and not kind of against it and trying to make it work. So sort that out first things first. Then if you're training with knee sleeves, take them off on leg extensions. If anything, they'll give you some more cushioning on your shins. Most gyms have the pads in here completely battered. So this will make it a bit more comfortable, but you need to allow the blood to kind of pass through a tiny bit. You'll get better contractions. We'll only be here for 3 sets, 12 reps. And another important thing is making sure that you're using your hands into this, right? Like your butt needs to be always on the seat. Again, the moment this lifts up, you're putting a lot more pressure on the knees. So you need to grab the handles and pull yourself into the seat at all times. Like you almost get an arm pump at the end of your leg extension set. Oh. 2 more sets of those. Jesus. And we're finishing up the workout with some extra cuffs on the seated calf machine, which for whatever reason started getting a lot of hate online for, oh, it's not as good as the standing one because science says so. I don't know about that. It feels really good to me. I don't know who tests those or like what kind of subjects they get in for testing. But personally, I still think most exercises are very subjective. So if something feels right, keep on doing it, regardless of what I say, Jeff Nippert says, or any scientist says, whatever. I'm just being completely transparent with what I'm doing myself. And you can draw inspiration from here if needed. But I always finish my leg days with seated calves. I get a phenomenal squeeze on those. And it's basically the same idea as with the standing, where you're trying to maintain a squeeze on the stretch as well. Let the heels dive in. 1 second stretch, 1 second contraction, and slowly down, controlled. Pause, squeeze, slowly down. I lost count on those, but it was too painful at that point, so that was my set. I am aiming in theory though for 12 reps.